All right, so it is officially 6:32 on 7th of January. We can call this meeting to order because we got everyone here. Councilman Peter Albert is not here. I'm saying Albrecht. I just need to look like an Albrecht.
Did they have a budget meeting or something tonight?
Yeah, I thought he said something in the last meeting. He may not have been here tonight, but we're good. We got enough. You don't mind sitting in, right?
I don't mind sitting.
All right, so going into public comment, we don't have any members of the public here to speak to agenda-related items. We don't have any public hearings, we don't have any appointments, we don't have statutory business. So Jeff, if you would like to come up and join us,
Here?
you would please sign in and make sure the microphone's on.
Okay. Thank you.
Let's see. So the ecological study that we agreed to perform, Jeff is in the charge of Moosewood Ecological and is taking up that work, so he's just here for a little update and some planning.
Yeah, thanks for having me tonight. I won't take up too much of your time, but as much as you need. Hey,
Hey.
good to see everyone.
Yeah, nice to see you again.
It's hard to look up and write at the same time, so I hope it's legible. But yeah, I just want to stop by and just kind of update you on what's going on and sort of next steps and decide some tentative dates, or we can go ahead and nail down some dates. But get to that in just a second. But what we've been up to at this point is just doing a lot of planning, gathering a lot of existing information, stuff that I've gathered many years ago when we did the biodiversity plan, and then some new information that's available and doing some aerial photography interpretation. Just really getting ready for the real prime field season, which we're underway now with the winter tracking sessions, which is going on, but getting prepared for all the bird surveys, the vernal pool surveys, the turtle trapping and whatnot. And so, as I mentioned a moment ago, in the process of looking for an intern or interns to help out with the project. So I got my feelers out with a couple of previous students of mine that are in their second year that they'll need internships. So talking about the winter tracking sessions that's underway is one of the outreach walks that we were talking about was doing a winter hike out there. So I was wondering if we want to maybe try to nail down a couple of dates. I've identified a few that might work, but I'd like to get your input. And you know, I think what the big idea is to take folks out and do some winter mammal tracking. You never know when you schedule these things, if you got perfect conditions and then 2 days before it rains and all your tracks are gone and you got bare ground. So lately, a lot of these I do as more of like a winter ecology, winter wildlife ecology. And so we look for sign and we look at habitats. And if we're really lucky and we have great snow conditions, then we really focus on that aspect. Maybe billing it as a winter wildlife ecology walk. That way it's a little bit more encompassing and we can talk about just about anything that's going on out there. I did identify a few dates just based on past experience. And again, you never know with storms. We had that great Thanksgiving time storm, and then all of a sudden we really haven't had nothing since then. So
Yeah.
a couple of dates that I was looking at based on my schedule. I tend to try to put these off later into the winter time, but there is some time that I'll be away. So a couple of weekends that I'm looking at is the weekend in February. It's like mid-February, the weekend of the 16th, or the weekend of March 9th. Either Saturday or Sunday of those times work for me. The 2 weekends before that, I have tentative plans. I may be away. Not sure yet. I can get back to you on those dates. So I don't know sort of what heads up time, what lead time you need in order to do your advertising,
March 9, 10, is that what the other one was?
Yeah. And March tends to be kind of a good month, it seems like these days, depending. But you can get some decent wet snow, and that helps to register good tracks. If it's really cold and you get snow, it could be fluffy and it's harder to tell. And so I tend to try to push, like the beginning of March, depending upon schedules. But those would be 2 weekends that would work for me. I'm happy to do it before and that mid-weekend in February, or even the weekend after the 9th and 10th in March as well.
Sunday's St. Patrick's Day.
Oh, yeah, that's probably not a good day.
Well, Sunday the 17th
Yeah.
of March.
Yeah, so even that 16th if you want, or if you want to avoid that weekend altogether, I don't think that's a big weekend activity. I think it's more of a day of kind of thing, right?
Except for parades and stuff, but that might be that day of anyway, so.
Yeah, yeah, that's true.
Yeah,
Depends where you're from.
yeah, right.
To me, both of those dates are fine for me. No. Thanks, sorry. Both of those dates are fine for me, in case no one heard me. Does anyone have any commitments on those days yet?
I don't think so.
I just have a commitment on the 10th, I think, which is Sunday, so
Yeah.
I'm good on Saturday.
Besides daylight savings time?
What?
Besides daylight savings time?
What is that? That's when it starts?
It's the end of winter break.
Do
Okay,
you,
so 16th,
I mean, do you have a
17th,
preference? You said in March, you think March would be better, potentially?
Potentially, yeah. I mean, it's hard to say. You know, what they were predicting was a snowy December, which didn't happen, a typical January thaw, and then some snow during February and March. But I think things have changed since then with their forecasting, and
They all
you know, so it's kind of hard to tell. But again, March tends to dump some kind of wettish sort of snow because it is getting a little bit warmer. That's another thing. The weather tends to get a little bit nicer. Spring's right around the corner. That may entice people to come out, and it's still winter time anyway. And again, scheduling these, you're not sure what the conditions are going to be like at the same time. But you know, the days are a little bit longer. The sun's a little bit stronger. People are getting antsy to get outside.
Yeah.
Ninth?
March 9th works for me.
Yeah.
Okay.
March
All right.
9th would be great.
Great. And we can talk about details, but I was thinking 9 to 11, 9 to noon, 10 to noon, something in the morning, so it doesn't, as opposed to maybe the afternoon, which I'm happy to do that too, but that does break up people's day, and they're like, so it's probably better to do it
Yeah,
maybe.
I'd rather be in the morning.
Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
Those tracks will be fresh, wouldn't they?
Yeah, yeah, especially if the sun comes out, if it's a really warm day. And,
It could really wash them out, yeah.
yeah,
Because if it's nice, then we're also going to be dealing with people who just want to go outside and walk,
Mm.
yeah,
so.
exactly. Okay. Any strong preference on starting time and length of the program? I think whenever we've done quite
Yeah,
a few vernal pools, and that'll be the next thing we'll talk about. I think that was always,
That's earlier in the morning.
yeah,
Yeah.
it was like, what, 2 hour?
Yeah,
It was, yeah, I mean,
yeah,
the very first one you did was, we were up there a while.
yes,
We were,
yeah.
Yeah, I remember that. now.
Yeah, I still, I get, my middle girl was 6,
Yeah.
7, she's 22, she still talks about it. So,
Wow, that was a while ago.
yeah, she knows which bond, that big one right there.
Oh, really?
She's like, yeah, that's the one we spent most time in. She still talks about it. So, it has an effect.
That's great. That's what we hope for.
I don't know, 9 to 11 or 9 to 12 would be good.
Yeah.
Yeah. Split it down the middle, say 9 to 11:30, 2.5 hours.
Yeah.
Okay. And we always have the option if anybody wants to kind of linger for a little while longer, and those that need to get back, we can
Yep.
split. You know,
Yeah.
I'm always flexible with that as well. So that sounds good. Okay. So
Middle
winter-
school?
Yes.
winter wildlife ecology.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, this is that would be, I think it's gonna be the easiest place to go, because the parking lot will be paved, or be plowed, and
Yeah.
the upper lot, middle school.
So the next thing, and that we'd want to think about is the vernal pool hike, which would be in the spring. So always the end of April, beginning of May. Again, these wildlife, and these weather patterns they're a pain to predict, right? So this last year vernal pool season was really weird. It was wet, and it just dried out, and nothing hardly moved, and a lot of the pools dried up. But I always target the end of April, beginning of May is a decent time to try to get out, and I think that's when we normally do it. So looking at dates for that, I think like the last weekend in April, the first weekend in May, being the weekend of April 27th or May 4th, And either one, I really don't have a strong preference
Do
towards
you have
that.
the giveaway on the first weekend?
The Mother's Day is typically,
When is that?
We-
Oh, actually, I think that's the following weekend.
yeah, Mother's Day is the 12th,
Yeah.
so we usually do the giveaway on the 11th.
So we could do May 4th.
May 4th, yeah, or the week
Yeah.
before.
May 4th? Yeah, we'll make sure no black flies are out.
You can go the week before.
We'll put that request out, and the same thing, like a 9 to 11:30 kind of thing.
People will miss is the hardcore Star Wars fans.
Oh, really? Is that?
Oh, really?
Oh, may the
Big day
4th
for
be with
them.
you. Yeah.
4th.
Oh, right, that's right.
May the 4th be with you.
I'm just not that cool, I guess.
May the
You need to get
4th
that.
be with you.
I'm just thinking of Cinco de Mayo on the 5th. I don't want to miss that.
That's right.
Okay.
And do the same, that's 9, we said the same thing, 9 to
Yeah,
11?
9 to 11:30, and again, if, we want to linger around a little bit, we can, and those that need to get back can. It
Does,
seems like, 2.5 hours can
Yep.
be a good program and not too much of a commitment on people's part.
That-
But it seems like we've had pretty good turnout.
Yeah.
there in the
also with
past.
the middle school?
Yes. Yeah, we up at the upper lot.
Oh, one other question that I have. The Greater Woods property doesn't have a formal conservation easement, does it?
No.
Okay. All right, because I'm looking at existing documentation. If it did, then there would have been a baseline report done on it, which would give me a little
Yeah,
bit
the
of
only easement
information.
is the only easement at all is the one that we hold on the school property.
On the school property?
School parcel.
Okay.
Yeah.
all
Yeah.
right.
So Greater Woods is bigger now than it was when you did your biodiversity plan too.
Yeah, I was looking at the tax assessor site with
Yeah.
the parcels
Yeah.
and whatnot, and I think I had identified, what is it, a couple parcels in the west?
Yeah, we added 3
Sorry?
more parcels
Three
in the
more?
west.
With
Yeah.
some wetlands, right?
Yeah, one of them has wetlands, yeah, yeah.
Okay. Yeah, so I did identify all those, and that's why I was wondering if there was an easement, was there any other
No.
information out there?
Not yet.
Okay, all right.
Most of the newer parcels that we've acquired have conservation language in their deeds,
They do,
yeah.
okay.
In fact, Gina has been pulling all that information and has electronic copies of all the deeds in case you want, to see some of that information.
Okay.
So,
So,
I got it all.
yeah,
Actually, all but 6.
yeah, okay.
and so
So-
was this from the previous owners that had this language already
No,
drafted?
no,
into
we
their
added
deed?
it as we acquired it.
The
The commission did, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, well, so the previous owners are the ones who actually gave us the deed, but we gave them the language that we wanted.
Right. So there's deed restrictions in there. Okay.
Yeah,
All right.
yeah, so,
That'd be definitely important when it comes
Yeah.
time to talk about the writing up of the report,
yeah, and one of the parcels, I believe, the town created a town forest on one of the parcels.
Oh,
And I think I have that data somewhere, so if you need that,
Yeah, 'cause
whenever you come across it, if you want to send that to me again, that would be something good
Yeah.
when we're talking about sort of the background of the property itself.
Yeah.
Good information, know that part of it is a town forest, there is some deed restrictions on, these certain properties.
that might be in the stewardship plan,
Okay, all right.
maybe? In the history of the stewardship plan? Maybe not, okay, I'll look
I-
for
I
it.
don't
I
think
haven't
it is.
reviewed that recently, so.
Because
Yeah.
we talked about calling the whole thing a town forest, and we got into a legalese, is like, you don't want to do that to the whole thing, and I
Right.
don't think it ended up in there at all.
Okay,
Okay. All right, I think that's. And how about, has there been like a timber cruise? Has there been has a forester actually walked the property and did like a management plan on the forest itself? Again, I haven't reviewed the stewardship plan.
he, Yeah.
It's old.
well,
Okay.
only what you see in the stewardship
Okay.
plan will,
Then
I don't
that's
think, I
gonna
don't think we've
explain
done
it.
anything since then.
Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah,
all right, that's
so
what I
some
was.
of the parcels have been done, but not the newer ones,
Okay.
so,
We
All right.
looked at trying to get one done a couple of years ago, and it just never really materialized, so.
yeah.
Well, that'd be a good follow-up to this project, having all this data was sort of the natural step to follow is to develop or maybe update your stewardship plan to include the new parcels
Yep.
and whatnot. I think that's really all I had at this point. Yeah.
Okay.
Do you folks have any questions or anything?
So on Greater Woods, we did update all our maps,
Okay.
and there's been trail additions and stuff like that. In fact, there's probably more trails now than the latest map has, but that's all available on our website, merrimacoutdoors.org.
Okay. And
You wanna give 'em one?
are the,
Yeah.
do you know if the trails are in an electronic format?
Yeah, we do. We have, yes, so you,
Oh, thank you.
on the website, you can actually get the,
History app.
well, yeah, through the Esri app, but you can pull the actual GPX files down,
Oh, okay.
okay?
All right. Yeah, that'd be good. That'd just be a good element to have on there, the cultural
Yeah.
side with the ecological features on the property.
Yeah, so you might want to just take a quick look at our website for that property.
Oh, this is a nice map. I like this brochure.
Yeah.
All right, so Merrimack Outdoors.
Yeah, .org, yeah. Website should be on that brochure somewhere.
Yeah, probably.
It better be.
Though with what you remember
Front page.
being out there, even though we've added some official trails,
Your mic.
even though we've added some official trails, there's probably less trails now than you remember.
Yeah,
Because for every one that we added, we decommissioned and
closed. Okay.
closed 2 or 3.
Yeah,
So
This,
now,
we've eliminated point A to point B trails
yeah.
and said, okay, look, the trail goes here,
right,
Yeah.
you know,
So,
so
Yeah.
we've had pretty good success in doing that. Initially, we weren't getting great, buy-in from public,
Yeah,
but now it's,
it tends to be the case once you start closing down the trails. But, you know, there's certain reasons.
mhm.
well, it's helped now too, just the fact it's grown back up. I mean, we've cut that road 3 times,
Yeah,
you know, since 2009.
really?
So, you know, that it's growing, and you know, when we first went out there, it was a moonscape,
Yeah,
you
Yeah,
know,
yeah.
and it's not that, now it's getting some thick areas to walk through, so.
yeah. But our neighbors have created their own moonscape, so
Oh,
there
yeah.
was a big logging activity 2 years ago out there. So,
Oh, on the
on-
property to the southeast, or sort of?
yeah, kind of in
Yeah.
the, we call it the middle of the donut hole, but yeah.
Yeah. Yeah, I was noticing that on some aerials.
Yeah.
Yeah,
the
you
other
can
day.
you can see it it's pretty
We were
evident. And,
talking about it, yeah.
yeah, it's pretty evident.
Yeah.
however, the development, the 66 homes that were supposed to go in, the developer is not going forward with the development.
Yeah.
The development's for sale,
Yeah, it's for sale.
as
The
is.
development itself.
Itself is for sale,
Oh,
as
okay.
is, so.
Huh.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's too expensive. There's no return on investment.
with all the
All
money
the
that's been spent. so
Sewer
far.
work and all the other work that has to go on, infrastructure. You have to lay out couple of $1 million before you even get the first house built. And so you don't see any return on your money for a couple of years.
Wow.
So,
There's a lot of DES, a lot
Yeah.
of
yeah. Yeah,
water crossings, a lot of,
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
what do you call that? Not restitution.
no,
but,
mitigation, right.
They would
Mitigation,
have
like
had
for
to have
wetlands
done.
and stream crossings
Yeah.
and
And
whatnot. Yeah.
that figure, I'm sure, got
Get-
pretty expensive as well with
Oh,
the
yeah.
amount of water that was there, so.
I remember years ago, walked it with Andy, and that's why I was wondering, because I know at that point it looked like there might be a deal with the town and those lands. I know that Andy was talking about maybe trying to add them to the Greater Woods, and I was wondering if they were, so.
We're still trying.
Yeah,
Still
so I'm
trying,
looking
yeah.
at the map, and I'm like, it says it, but I was like, I'm gonna give Gage a call and just to see
Yeah.
what's going on with that.
Yep, still working it. So,
Okay. Great. Anything else?
While you're, oh, go ahead.
No, go ahead, Cindy.
While you're here, in your everyday travels, have you noticed any change in beaver populations? Anything unusual? We're having,
Well, you guys had a plan done several years ago.
yeah.
at the Horse Hill Nature Preserve,
Mm-hmm.
on the pond where there's always been beaver, it's great. They're just gone to a different area and they're cutting down a lot of trees.
Mm-hmm.
So we didn't know if maybe the population's increased. I mean, my theory is just that it's easier, you know, maybe they've already taken trees along here, and it's just easier to get out right here.
And also, if they're raising the level, then they're flooding out their old home, so they want a new lodge, for one thing. So as the water level rises, the water may enter, because sometimes you'll see them in the middle of the pond, their lodges, or sometimes there's bank lodges as well. And as the water changes, they'll move, but that pond can only support so many, because they are extremely territorial. As you've probably seen, in the meantime, you go near a pond, there's one, they're slapping their tails, and you know,
Yes.
and you can tell when there's a battle between two of them, because they're always piling up and putting their castor scent, and then another one come along and pull up mud and leaves and put a castor scent. It's like a back and forth saying, it's my pond, no, it's my pond. So yeah, they're maybe they just raised the level enough. There been another, I would think that probably only would support one family.
There's 2 active huts out there on that
There are
pond.
2 active
Yeah,
huts
yeah.
now.
And
So-
both of them, I mean, they're going towards I think the other side of the pond, maybe than what they've done in the past, so we're seeing it.
Yeah.
There's just a lot of trees
You should
over.
see.
Yeah,
They've
lots of
literally
trees.
taken down about 100 trees.
Yeah.
Really?
Oh yeah, it's
In
huge.
like no time,
Big,
too.
we're talking big trees now.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
They've cleared property.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. It's
Clear cutting, huh?
In my
Do they have a
opinion,
permit?
Yeah, right.
in my opinion, it's really cool to see what they've done.
Yeah.
'Cause some people think, oh, beaver, yeah, a little tree here, a little tree there. No, they have taken a half an acre and just kind of knocked everything down, or an acre maybe.
Yeah.
Yeah, and
Maybe.
it's just all down. Yeah, they on top of each other. There's trees hanging up on top of other trees. We had to send some folks out to finish cutting them down because
DPW went out there and pulled.
we were
some-
afraid of widowmakers. Basically,
Yeah, those are
right?
young beavers that don't have experience felling trees yet.
Yeah.
They're the ones that get them hung up. Yeah.
And they're cutting down pines too.
Yeah,
Yeah.
That's
Which-
unusual.
So that is, I've heard a little bit that sometimes there's some particular minerals or nutrients in that they may seek out, but usually once they're starting to hit in the conifers, that means they're eating themselves out of house and
right.
home.
Yeah,
you
it's
know?
what I was
Taking
thinking.
them down or girdling them
That's
to
the-
promote some of the hardwoods underneath.
Look at the pond behind the middle school. That was abandoned.
Yeah,
Yeah.
You know, that was abandoned because it's all pine,
Mhm.
yeah.
so.
Yeah, so it's definitely not a main food source, but I have seen them take pine from time to time. It's kind of odd.
Yeah.
But yeah, and you know, and even eat on it. You know, it's like, okay, so maybe there's something in there that really gives them a boost.
That's the red gin
Yeah.
beaver.
Gin beaver.
The
Yes.
what, gin beaver?
Oh,
Next to pine.
No, but it's really cool to see what they've done, in my opinion. Now, some people think they're destroying the property, and we should do something about it. It's like, no, just let them go. It's,
yeah, they'll only go so far.
yeah,
you
and,
know.
and then we're going to have all kinds of new forests pop
Yeah.
up. You know,
Yeah, it'll be fun to see how it changes.
because there's
you
a
know.
lot of sun getting in there now,
Yeah.
so it's going to be a whole different place in a couple of years. Yeah,
I don't know if I have any pictures here.
yeah. Um,
I don't have any more questions
So-
for the topic that we started on this way.
Yeah. Yeah, I guess I have a quick off-the-cuff question. So, hickory. So I moved into a new neighborhood and realized that I stumbled across some large hickory nuts on the pavement, and I had
Uh-huh.
never really seen a hickory tree really close. I didn't really realize what it was, and now I'm starting to see we have hickory out in Horse Hill.
Yeah,
How
hickory there. You got hickory at Gilmore.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Usually they don't seed until they're mature, right?
Yeah. Yeah.
Because so I'm kind of wondering if we've got smatterings of hickory, and we all know Horse Hill was logged many years ago and probably logged multiple times. But
Yeah.
it
Definitely was.
if we wanted to encourage hickory just to have a diversified forest, should we try to keep them within so close to each other? Do they cross-pollinate with each other? Does that
So-
matter?
They
Do you know?
They do a little bit better with a little more light, so a little intervention, a little management
Mm-hmm.
would be helpful for them to germinate.
Yeah.
You know, I have a feeling that on their own they'll probably germinate anyway. It's not like a late successional species, more of a mid successional
Okay, all right,
species.
okay.
But it's interesting. You have it these southern Appalachian species all over Merrimack because it's really warm and it's really dry and really sandy, and they do really well in those particular areas, and especially like on Gilmore where there's even enrichment.
Yeah, yeah.
They do really well, but they respond to fire an awful lot.
Oh, okay.
The shagbark hickory,
Yeah.
and so
Which is what we have a lot of, shag.
yeah, and that's what, and they're fire adapted. You see the big shags, that helps to insulate the cambium tissue, the live tissue underneath. It acts as an insulator from fire, so they do best with fire. So like Gilmore here, historically there was probably fire that was there, especially out in Horse Hill, up on the hills that are there. It's just very dry woods out there, you know. And so that fire comes through and clears out of space naturally, right? Allowing the light to come in to energize that nut, as long as the squirrels don't get them.
Yeah.
Yeah, so I'm sure they're preying on them pretty hard.
Oh, yeah. We found a whole bunch of open ones too. At least I did
Yeah.
a couple of weeks ago out on Horse Hill. So they obviously
Yeah.
broke into them. But
So sunlight, you know, so if there's some sort of management that you wanted to take into account, and I would imagine Horse Hill, it wouldn't be a moneymaker. It would cost,
Yeah,
you know,
yeah.
unless you had volunteers that were willing to go out and open up around some. But
We just had a big opening around that one.
yeah, yeah, the
with
beavers.
development.
Oh, yeah, development too, right, yes.
Yeah.
That's the other part. We've got a new
Yeah.
development up there letting a lot more light in on the top of Blodgett and stuff.
well, monitor that over the next few years and see if you're getting some seedlings coming up.
Yeah.
It would be interesting. Yeah.
Yeah.
Would it be worthwhile to take some of them and, I mean, I'd be happy to try to get some to bloom and nurture them for a year or two till the squirrels aren't interested anymore. And we could plant them where the
Until their
beavers were.
population
Plant
tanks
them
out a little bit.
Plant them so the deer can get them?
Yeah, the deer.
Well, wait,
we
I'll
gotta
show you
worry
the
about
deer.
that.
There's 6 in my yard.
Yeah.
There's 6 point buck in my yard
You
for
should.
like weeks.
Yeah.
No. I
He would
fed
love
'em.
the smell of
Yeah, I know.
Dumping cat food outside for him?
No, I asked them and they said they'll eat corn, so I've been feeding them corn.
It's a
And apples.
It's a wild
I-
animal.
And they don't like the apples unless you cut them up for them. So I cut it.
Oh, wow.
I threw my jack-o'-lanterns
They
in
must
my
really love
backyard,
you.
and the deer came in and chewed on the
Their apples
jack-o'-lanterns.
out.
I have 6 of them.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're beautiful. There's 2 boys. One literally is a 6 point. I didn't know what a 6 point buck was. My husband's like,
That's
because
nice.
I asked for trail cam for Christmas, so it's like, look, there's deer. So of course I ran to the thing and I got corn. So, but there's 4. They look like does. Oh,
Yeah.
good size. But this buck is. I mean, he's got a saggy belly and everything, so he must be pretty old.
Yeah. Yeah.
So
Oh,
if
it's Uncle
anybody's
Buck.
watching this at home, no
Drinking beer.
shooting.
Yeah.
It's all the corn with feeding them.
No, I
all
just
the-
started feeding them corn. I just started this year. But they did last year. I did notice a lot of deer tracks that were eating my bird food off the ground.
They're all
so.
over the place.
Yeah.
Yeah. Sure.
No, I'm
I'm
all
good.
set.
Yep.
All right.
Great.
Thank you for the brochure.
You're welcome.
All right. Well, if you have any questions at any point, do be in touch.
Yep.
And hopefully we'll get some snow for March.
Yeah. Great.
All right.
Yeah, tonight.
Nice to see everyone.
Thanks.
I'll take care.
Take care, Jeff. Thanks for coming in.
Absolutely. No pleasure. Great.
If she's interested in internship and you're still looking, come find you.
I hope to still be looking in 2 years. That's my plan.
Good.
Yeah, you too, thanks.
All right. Okay. The next item, 19th annual seedling giveaway, spring 2019. We just got the catalog. So as Mike already said, we usually do that the weekend of Mother's Day, which is on the, let's see. It's on the 11th, yeah. So I'm going to be at my daughter's graduation.
You can't.
Can't.
So-
Yeah, you're like, no. Yeah.
So I'm not going to be around on this year, unfortunately. So would anybody love to run the seedling giveaway?
Well, I can certainly be there,
It's-
so.
It's really, I mean, I'll give you all the paperwork and stuff. It's really not very hard to set up. And once we make the order, it's just going up and getting them, and it's not a big deal. But it's the day,
Where are they?
Bosquen,
Okay.
the state nursery.
Okay.
You know where the state prison is?
No. Why would I know where that is?
Yeah, well, it's even, it's, I mean, because we get them well before that, and we go, I've got to go talk to Jeff again, but I mean, he's always been, yes, we can, of course, do the seedling giveaway at Courier Orchards again, but I still like to talk to him, make sure we're on the same page, but, it's just that day. I'm not gonna be there that day, so
Yeah.
someone can, you know,
Someone
putting out the
will-
buckets, whatever, it's not that big a deal.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I'll be
so
there.
there.
Yeah, we'll be
Yeah,
there.
I'll be there.
Alright. Well, I can certainly work with whoever to set that up and make it, so.
You know I'm gonna whine for the Songbird package, though.
Okay,
And more
Yeah,
pussy
that was a
willows.
good package.
yeah,
Winter
what I'll do
survival
is,
songbird.
yeah, what I usually do is I go through, I kinda look at last year's, you know, what we've given away the last couple of years and what we had left over, and then go from there. So we have picks, it changes a little bit unless we ran out of things that, you know, like we, last 2 years, we couldn't get enough pussy willow.
Oh, yeah.
They would just disappear.
love
Yeah,
'em.
it just disappears, so,
Yep.
if they have it again,
They do.
you looked,
I looked.
People,
Yep,
people
you're right
love
there.
the fruity stuff, the dogwoods, they
Yep.
love that stuff.
so,
And once we pick them, I can do that little summary.
Yep.
That I did before.
okay.
Crab apples.
We're gonna,
That's very helpful.
Yeah, they like crab apples.
Yep.
No, it is, it's very helpful. So we're going to, the 11th?
Mhm.
Yep.
Still Saturday 11th?
So, yeah, that's Saturday, that's not
Yeah.
Sunday, right?
No, it's not.
Okay.
Sunday's the Mother's Day.
Right.
So it's 11 May. And I'll call Jeff and make sure we do it, everything's square away for that. Anybody get any questions on that?
Nope.
Good. All right,
I'll add it to the calendar.
okay, thank you. Duck box, annual duck box cleaning and inventory.
Yeah, I gotta wait till it freezes, right?
Yeah.
So.
Today was a good freezing day.
Mm.
I've been out on all the ponds. I've walked across everything.
Oh,
Already?
you didn't clean them?
I think I would, I think I would after today, but I think I would
No, I-
before today. It's supposed to be
Cheesecake.
really cold on Friday.
It's, the next couple days are supposed to be cold.
Yeah, Friday's
So,
supposed to be cold.
but this last weekend and over the Christmas, I've walked across,
Yeah, well,
I walked across a bunch of stuff. Yeah, well, I was testing it. I wasn't being a jerk.
Or an idiot, you mean?
Yeah.
So,
Didn't jump
it
up
is
and
supposed to
down.
be cold.
Well, I was, yeah, I
The
tossed
Pa-
some.
the
tossed- I
Patriots
sent a
are
dog
playing
out.
Sunday, so it's supposed to be cold Friday. Saturday would be a good day.
Well, that's just, well, I'm not trying to push to get it done right now. I'm just saying, but I'm surprised that we've had good cold weather without any snow cover. And we've got some ice.
Yeah,
Right,
it
that's
is, I'm
nice.
sure it's froze up a lot today.
It's weird because the little lily pads are still at the surface. They didn't die back, so it got cold really quick.
It's weird.
And so the ice has get this nice beautiful, with all the lily pads that are still right at the surface.
Yeah,
So,
I mean, I'm ready to walk on it now, but I wasn't before today.
yeah, no, I was surprised.
Wow.
I was surprised. So,
Yeah,
yeah,
yeah.
the dog only went through once. Just once. It was shallow.
Mhm.
I mean, yes.
He didn't get his phone wet, which is good. I told you what I did with the phones. I GPS the dog. So we went for like a 4-mile walk, and we got back. I looked at the 2 tracks. and went like 9.
Oh, I'm sure. Yeah. Yeah.
You overlay the 2
Back and
tracks.
forth.
You see me like walking a trail, and his like, you know, yeah, knucklehead. So do we?
Set date?
Yeah, we should. I mean, that's saying I don't think we're gonna get less ice now.
Possibility would be Saturday.
I can't do
All right.
that
Then
weekend.
we'll push it off.
First weekend I have is the 20th,
Of
January.
January.
which is not this Sunday, but the Sunday after.
Wanna shoot for the 20th, if it's decent?
Saturday, did you say Sunday?
Sunday's the 20th.
January.
Oh, sorry, I'm an 18.
I still have the shavings.
Do we have enough? I know this big bag you bought, but do we still,
Yeah.
is it enough, you think?
Yeah.
You want to just set a time already?
9 a.m.
9?
All right. Where? We're starting at,
BB?
start at BB?
Sure.
There's a whole series of ponds there.
Yeah.
BB Lane?
Have fun.
If you go out and look at someone's pond, just, the water level's getting higher. Some of those duck boxes are pretty low to the ice. I was really surprised to see some of them are,
There's a lot of water.
yeah, the ponds are getting
I
high.
have
And some of
waterfront
them are really
property,
high.
and I don't have a
Yeah.
waterfront property. My backyard is.
Greens
frozen.
Pond?
It's a big pond.
That was
in
really
Yeah.
high because all the water's
There's a
flowing
lot of
out.
water.
Yeah.
And
Flooding
the
out
streams flowing.
That's not
Gilmore
Gilmore-
Hill, it is
Gilmore
Gilmore
Hill,
Hill, yeah. Yeah, Gilmore Hill's underwater,
Yeah, it's underwater.
yeah,
Completely.
yeah.
Well, it's like there's nowhere, in my backyard, normally we don't have a water problem, but there's nowhere for all this rain to go, so it's
Yeah.
just staying up there.
Because the ground's frozen.
Yeah.
We had no snow cover, so the
Mhm.
ground's all frozen. It's not
Yeah.
seeping in at all.
Yeah.
All right. Okay, so January 20th, 9 o'clock, BB Lane. Obviously, we get, what is it, more than 4 of us, more than 5 of us?
I can't make it,
No,
so.
okay. It's a nice day to go walk.
Bring
Rubber gloves.
studs, and a good pair of gloves that you don't mind needing to wash after you're
Getting
done.
Yeah, some that can get raunchy, those eggs.
Those eggs are disgusting.
Never know. They could be.
Yep.
They could have all hatched this year.
Yep, they could have. All right, Parks and Rec, the 2019 Winter Carnival. I don't have the date. Matt sent it out,
It's
but
February 23rd.
23rd, huh? Okay.
Telling you, the real action is where they sell hot dogs.
So you want to sell hot dogs this year to attract
No,
attention?
Merrimack Friends and Family sells the hot dogs. They always have a big line. So we have to find something that's better than hot dogs.
I did not make friends when I told them I was going to sell them for $1.25.
The hot dogs?
Yeah, because they sell them for like $1.50 a hot dog, and I said I think I'm going to sell them for $1.25 next year. And she was like, "You better not."
Nice, Matt.
Troublemaker.
You can tell they won't come to a commission meeting or, or anything, or tell the people about the commission.
What kinds of dates on this paper?
Well, remember Cindy does put these on the website too, so you can have them right on your phone.
No, I can't. Not on my phone. Not on this phone.
So the big question is, do we want to have a booth again?
It was kind of quiet last year.
It's been kind of quiet for the last number of years,
Yeah.
but
What's the date?
23rd,
Yeah.
Saturday the 23rd of February.
I
So-
mean, we could talk about Sklar, and try to, get some interest on Sklar. That's the new property.
Mike has to go.
Have to go.
When do we have to tell them by?
They are trying to set it up now.
Oh.
They're trying to set up booth space
That's a
and
good idea.
the number of people and what they need to do. So they're asking us to, make a decision. If we're gonna, if we're,
Historically, the best responses we've had are when we have good maps set
Yep.
up. People come up and go, "Oh, where's that?"
Right.
And last year we set one up with Wasserman's map.
Yep.
And we said, "That's right here, like out
Right.
the window, right there."
Yeah,
And
that's
they were
smart.
like, "Really?"
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
that was, but like you said, there was what, 10 people
Yeah.
that came to us. Everybody else was looking for hot dogs.
Well, and because I was trying to raffle the ferry door and I literally only sold 12 chances.
Yeah.
Who won?
But that I was raffling off the ferry door thinking, yay. And considering the ferry door cost $30 to buy and we sold $12.
Yeah, that's the
And
point.
then I ended up using the $12 for, Wildcat Falls needed, what did they need to do? They needed to put something up and it cost like 12 or 13 bucks. I'm like, here, now you're covered. They like the duck boxes a lot though. That's a big,
Yeah, the duck box and the maps were what gets people there.
yeah.
They want visual things because
Yeah.
they're just
I know.
really just sitting there eating their hot dog after they got it from the thing, and they're like, looking to kill 2 minutes before they go back outside. So we go in a very tight window.
So did you actually take a duck box?
I did, yeah.
Yeah. They were fascinated by that,
Mhm.
especially the kids.
The kids.
Be cute if you had a little
We were
wood
kind
duck.
of making it fun by saying, what do you think?
Yeah.
What do you think lives in here?
Oh, that's a good idea.
Nobody ever
They
guesses.
make them, I'm sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, they do. They get a wood duck.
Yeah, there's
Do you
nice
have- do you have another
sculptures
duck box
last year,
now?
too.
I do, but we might need,
Because I have two. I have two.
oh, the old ones.
Yeah.
Okay.
But we
It
can,
doesn't matter.
no, that's it.
Yeah.
But they don't open very well, but
Yeah.
we can certainly rev them up a little bit.
Typically, we have to replace a couple every year,
Yep.
and I'm down to one new designed duck box.
And those are the good ones that the guy made for
The
us.
guy that made, yeah.
Yeah.
And I still have the card, so I'm gonna need to find a place for the card because I've stapled it to the duck box, so I remember, now if we
Yeah.
put that one up,
Yeah.
we gotta
If we put it up, you should bring it to the next meeting and we should just order.
order some more, yeah.
Right, right.
And in fact, we might need some more.
Did you email the guy?
Have I emailed the guy?
Yeah.
Not since we got him.
Right, but his email's in your contact list for your government, your .gov address, right?
I think the finance department ordered it from
Yeah,
me.
that's true. So they have contact him.
Yeah, he's probably got a vendor number.
Yeah, that's true. Okay. Yeah, we should probably order those. Do you remember how long it took them?
They were at my house like the week.
A week later?
Yeah.
All right.
Huh?
So we got some time, but we should just get them done.
Yeah, we should because they're not gonna be here for. Could be here.
Do you remember, what did we say, the 20th?
Yeah. I remember them being cost-wise. I remember them being
It was cheap, right?
much less expensive than I
Right.
thought it would take me to build one.
Yeah.
So-
Right, well, no, because,
Right.
I remember saying, oh, your conservation department, I'll do them
Yeah, right.
for, cheap.
He gave us a really good,
Yeah.
and we ordered 20 or something. So.
We could also, if we had some pictures of the beaver damage, that would be interesting to talk to people about. Because that's pretty impressive.
Yeah, I know.
Or the beaver dams.
Mm-hmm.
You seen the height, size of the beaver dam going across Castor? That first bridge? You're looking up at it now.
Yeah, that pond, the
It's-
level of the pond has come up
Yeah.
significant.
A lot.
That's why that box
Yeah.
is low.
You see the size, because that little peninsula you used to be able to walk out on is,
No
Gone.
such thing.
Yeah?
yeah, it's underwater. So it's, there's a big hut out there now too. It's a big lodge.
Hmm.
All right, do you think we could get them by the 20th?
Possible. Depends on how quickly the finance department.
Do you have any memory of what it cost?
No. It was like $25 a box or something like that.
So
I mean,
250 bucks?
might be able to get by with one, but it's usually about two or at least about 2 boxes a
Yeah,
draw.
depends. The bear got one last year, and that was just gone. So we put one, but I mean we don't. We also don't. We have one. If there's 2 that need replacement, we just
Yeah.
down one.
Yeah, I would say, I mean, if we're gonna order them, so I'd rather order, not order one. I'd like to order, 10, 5, 10.
Yeah.
And also, when we clean them out, that takes a while. When you're putting up a new box, that takes 2 seconds. You fill it at the house and bang, you're done. So we could just make a note of where one needs to go and just put it up later.
Okay. Does anyone wanna
Make a motion.
make a motion to buy what, 10? If we think that somewhere around $25, it's gonna be less than $400.
Yeah, so 10 should last like 4 years or something.
Yeah.
3 or 4.
You got space for them?
Sure.
I'll make a motion to purchase 10 duck boxes, not to exceed, do we have to give an amount?
Yeah,
Yes.
I'd say $400.
$400
Fund.
Fund 53.
from 53.
Second. Discussion?
Sounds good.
Someone want a second?
I did.
Oh, Matt, okay. All right, motion by Mike, second by Matt. No discussion? All those in favor?
Alright.
All right, passes 7-0. New duck boxes, yahoo.
Has anyone noticed of the new duck boxes that someone put out on the Wasserman Conservation property, if they're still there? Just curious.
One of them is as of Sunday,
Yeah, I've seen one of them still. I'm not sure who's, I'm still not sure who put them out there.
because I was accused of putting them out there, and Sunday's the first day I was out there, and I made sure to look for
You
these.
weren't accused of it.
Those ones by the shoreline that we
Yeah.
saw? Yeah, that's so weird.
We were not, I was like, I don't think Matt did these.
Well, they were well made, but the post kind of looked a little flimsy, that's
Yeah,
all.
I was like, I don't think Matt did this.
Yeah.
And I don't even know if those are wood duck boxes.
I don't know either.
I
The
didn't measure.
hole's closer to the bottom.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know if they're just bird boxes. I don't know what people
Yeah.
put out. I don't know what they're for.
Yeah.
So, whatever.
Whatever.
All right. So we went full circle because we started with duck boxes, went to Parks and the Winter Carnival, and then we're back at duck boxes. So are we gonna have a booth at the Winter Carnival? If we're gonna have duck boxes? Anyone wanna sit there for the afternoon?
I think if we're going to do it, we should get a couple of those corkboard type maps like we have in the kiosks.
Okay. The smaller one?
No, the bigger ones. Like the kiosks.
On the foam core, or on the foam core ones.
Yes.
Okay.
But we don't have any, so we'd have to buy them.
We'd have to
Yeah.
buy them. We already have to, in another agenda item later on, we already have to buy one.
Okay.
So
What are you gonna do with them? They're big. You just, yeah, we don't really have a way we can store them. I suppose we got a place to here we can store them for when we're not using them.
they're a nice thing to have too when we're talking.
I'm not disagreeing with it. I'm just saying it's, I'm just trying to think where to, I can't keep anything at my house. I lose
No,
everything, so.
I think we should leave them here because
Yeah,
subcommittee meetings are usually in this room,
Right.
and
we're
it
down,
would
yeah.
be great to
Yeah.
have them here. They've got boxes of maps downstairs in that
Yep.
other room. I think we should be able to store them.
Yeah. Do you want them on the phone cord? Do we need them on that, or you want them on just like a, just like a piece of oak tag type of thing?
That doesn't matter to me.
The foam core's fairly expensive, that's all. I mean, it's good, it's sturdy, but it's not,
Yeah, you want something sturdy, or else it's just gonna.
all right. Okay. Matt, I can-
Is it worth having any type of easel or something too, for when we do things like this? So, I mean, before, you kinda had them on the front of the table and hanging up in the back.
I cut a
MacGyvered it,
I cut a box with a
yeah,
box cutter
yeah.
into like an easel.
yeah,
it's
It
very
worked fine.
creative.
Yeah,
okay,
just take a dado blade to a piece of wood,
okay,
so they stand up.
yeah.
Because they're pretty good size. I mean, you're talking about the full-size ones.
Yeah.
So if we have 5 of them, they're gonna be, you're not gonna have enough space to
That's
display
true,
them.
you could just get a block of wood and dado a line in
Yeah.
it and drop it in the dado cut.
Yeah.
That would actually work, and then they're tabletop.
Yeah,
Yeah, because if you have 4 or 5 of them, I mean, you're not gonna be able to have any one thing that's got them all displayed.
I mean, is it worthwhile getting some that are just a little bit smaller so that we can?
Well, the ones that go in the kiosks aren't terribly big.
Yeah.
Right,
They're
they're this big.
Yeah.
they're
Yeah.
20, but 11, 22 by 17 or something like
Right,
that.
they're not
so-
huge, so. Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, we don't have to have all of them up, we can kind of switch them during the day,
Right.
you know.
I'll talk to them, see what other kind of covering they can put on them, you know, so whether there's some kind of vellum or something like that to.
Yeah, because we don't want to get hot dog and mustard on them.
Right, well, that's, those are, yeah, that's what I'm saying, well, that's exactly the point, you're not, people go, oh, am I here?
Yeah.
It's,
Right,
it's,
I
you
know
know,
you get a grease spot or
right,
whatever else.
so, and that's paper, it's
Yeah.
not, it's
Yeah.
not something you can really,
Yeah.
you know, it's,
Now, do you think enough people show up at the Conservation Commission kiosk, or not kiosk, but whatever, your
At the
display?
table?
At the display table to make it worthwhile?
Well, if not, we can put them in our kiosks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Right.
I think they have way more uses than just that winter carnival.
Yeah.
We have an empty kiosk at Wasserman right now with no,
Yeah.
that's the one we need one at anyway. So what we
Yeah.
could do is, you know, get that one and then a round of the other 4.
Yeah, there's a couple in Horse Hill that could be updated.
Yeah.
Is it worthwhile having some inexpensive business cards with the website?
Yeah, we have them.
You have
Do
some.
we have them?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, you're right,
Would
we
you
do.
like-
Okay,
Yeah.
I'll make sure that,
I have more.
What did we have
We
to
have more?
write last time?
oh,
with
we
the
had to write the new, website on it.
Okay. Remember, we had to write it on the
Oh, yeah.
business card. We had to write something on every business card.
Oh, did we get the website wrong?
I think we didn't have it on.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't think it was on there, maybe.
The business cards? The ones
Yeah.
I bought?
This was 2
Something.
years ago.
Yeah, it was 2 years ago. We were down on the back there, not near the hot
Yeah.
dogs.
I don't remember what we
I
had
don't
last
have any
year.
with me.
Good old Mike.
I don't remember passing them out last
It's
year.
got the
Yeah.
Merrimack Outdoors on there.
Yeah, I think we were using old cards.
Oh, it says Merrimack, it says, well, it's got Merrimack Outdoors at merrimacknewhampshire.gov.
Oh,
Oh.
No, it says merrimackoutdoors.org.
oh, okay.
We might have been using older
Maybe
cards.
these were old ones then.
And these are, that's the right, that's the right, email address for us.
Because
Yeah.
the thing is, we don't want to
Merrimack
pass
I
out,
mean, sorry, Merrimack Outdoors at
Merrimack
merrimacknh.gov. Yeah.
we don't pass out maps, because everybody will take a map and then
Yeah.
Thank you.
lose them.
Yeah, I think.
All right, so we want full-size maps for
I don't think
display
it was emailed.
purposes, a full set, right?
Would have been old.
And to answer your question, Cindy, because I know you're gonna ask, is no, I have not ordered those maps yet. We're playing phone tag with 3 or 4 different people, and we just, I think now that everything's, season's over, holidays over, I think it's probably, everything will probably get
Yep.
back in line now, so. Do we have I don't have any recollection of what those big maps cost. It was not crazy money, but I don't have any recollection. I can find out and I can,
We have another meeting this month.
yeah.
You know, I don't think the Wasserman map, I don't think it's urgent that we get one there. It would be good to have one, but
Is it, we have 2 different sizes. You want the big one or the little one for Wasserman?
oh, I wish I had the measurement of the new kiosk that was just built. Has anybody seen the kiosk?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Your Warsaw?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's nice.
It's pretty good
Big.
size.
Is it big?
Yeah,
Okay,
it's
yeah,
pretty
so we
big.
probably should
Right.
use the big one. Especially there where we really don't have anything else to put in it.
Okay. What else, you said there's more, we needed more maps for other things? Other places?
So like you said, 2 Horse Hill
Yeah.
kiosks.
Oh, Horse Hill kiosks.
The one on Gerard and the one in the Bowman lot. They could use the new maps.
Mm-hmm.
The one in the Bowman lot also needs a new
Needs some-
plexi.
Yeah,
Yeah,
plexiglass,
yeah.
yeah.
It does.
I've got Plexi. I have
Okay.
some.
Cool.
Kiosk maps. So, now are these the big ones or the littler ones?
Well, that's what it looks like, so the big one should fit. That's the one at Bowman.
All right, but the big one's gonna take up a good chunk of that space. Which is fine, I mean,
You think?
I mean, you put it up in the corner, you're gonna take up, 2/3 of that. You'll have space down the bottom and down one side. Which is fine,
That one that's on there is big.
that is.
That
Yeah.
is.
Yeah, that's not a, yeah.
Oh, I thought that was, looked like, I was looking
No,
at
no,
the-
no.
No,
Oh, that's
that's
not,
big.
it's big.
That's really big. Because think about that
Oh, that's
Smokey
11
the
yeah,
Bear.
that's 11 by 7.
Right, that's 11, right, yeah, 8.5 by 11 right
Yeah.
there, so that tells you how big it is, so.
Right, so that's the, we need a new one there?
Yeah, and new plexi there.
Okay.
You can't see through. You can't see through the plexi and
Yeah.
a lot of it. It's the same with the Gerard.
Yeah, well, that's even blown up and you can't really see through
Yeah.
it, so. Yeah, I did snap a picture of it last week.
It's like somebody tried to start it on fire or something. It's like it's like cloudy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The Gerard one is gonna be full-size too?
Yes. Yeah, that's a really big kiosk with very little in it.
Yeah, that's who I found next to the kiosk almost.
Yeah.
Big deer. I found when I was out on Horse Hill the second time, on New Year's Eve, I was chasing 2 deer around Horse Hill. Every time I turned a corner, they were just hopping away,
Oh,
so.
cute. Remind me before we go, I'll show you that one.
Yeah, I got, if you can see there's another one there.
I didn't post it on Facebook too. I think Cecil was over.
Good camouflage.
You're safe
Yeah.
now.
Yes.
Oops.
Oh, that's cute too. Your grandson.
All right.
Yes, grandson and the new puppy he got
Oh.
for Christmas
Oh, wow.
in my fireplace.
Very cute.
You got a new dog?
Gives Gabe a run. Gabe.
Yeah.
Gibbs. Run.
Yeah,
It's
yeah.
funny.
My grandson got a new dog. I do not have a new dog. That went home with him.
All right, is that it for the maps, those 3? And a set for display? Okay.
And I can pick everything up now that I know where it is.
How are we all doing for, I think I'm down to the last packet of Wildcat Falls, but we can talk about,
Okay,
do we want to talk about that now or?
well,
in
we can go into
subcommittees?
other business and get subcommittee updates. We good to go? Oh, okay. Subcommittee updates. Go, Gina.
We had talked about the potential snowshoe walk,
Mhm.
Moonlight Snowshoe Walk.
Yep.
And, Karen is going to fill out the form and submit it to the town council, so we are looking to get on the town council agenda for January 24th. So I will be there with her for that, and then if that happens, then we will have snowshoe walk, if there's snow.
On what day?
You have a
It
date
would
yet?
be on February 19th, I think, is when the full moon is. So we'll see if there's snow, because you kind of need the full moon and the snow for snowshoe walk. Is that
Are
like-
you, you're gonna give them a couple dates?
Well, see, here's the problem for the, we'll have to, I guess.
Yeah.
We'll have to give them some March dates too, so.
I don't want you or anybody having to go up in front of town council every time we want to do something. It's like, we'd like permission to once or twice a year do a moonlight walk. We're going outside the town ordinance, which is fine. That's where we're asking, but
You're right, to
well,
kind of get a
it's gonna-
blanket
we're
approval.
gonna do it one of these 3 nights.
Right.
We'll, this is our first chance, second chance, third chance, and then we're,
Would we have to go up every year if we said to them, we might want to make this an annual thing?
I would start with the month of February,
Oh,
and if they say,
Well,
then say this day.
well, the thing is, that it's only full moon one day a month,
Right,
right? So she knows what days they're gonna be. It's either January, February, or March,
right.
Yeah.
And
right?
it's not going to be January because that ship has
Yeah.
sailed, so
Right.
it's going to be February or March, and already we're getting to the point where, I mean, at this point, will we have snow? We've been so dry as
Yep.
far as
Mhm.
snow.
So then say a day between this full moon in February and this full moon.
Well, that's the thing, here's the next 3 full moons that we have, that we could do this walk. This is our first choice, second choice, third choice. We're gonna do it one of these 3 nights.
Yeah.
And say, look, in the future, we're gonna try to do this, we're gonna try to make this an annual event. What do you want us to do to, do you want us to come before you every year
Yeah,
You can call-
or can we just get the town manager to be aware and we're all
Yeah,
set
can
to
we,
go?
can we, sign a form saying this is what we're intending to do, and you guys can read it in the minutes and be done with it?
And you can call it a full moon walk and have it the day before, the day after the full moon. I
Yeah.
mean,
Right,
Yeah,
yeah, but
Where's the parking? Where's?
way down at the end of West Chamberlain on that cul-de-sac, and then you have to go down and then go
Over
on,
the bridge,
you go onto
yeah.
the highway, I guess, and then you go
Yeah.
over the bridge.
yeah.
Cool.
So you wouldn't have it if there's no snow? Like, you wouldn't have just a regular hike or a walk?
No, because if you have the snow, it brightens everything up, and you can see what you're doing. Just the regular full moon with, you'd be tripping over the branches and
So the
roots and stuff.
Okay.
21st of, no, it's the 21st of January.
Yeah, you missed that one.
Yeah, we didn't, when Karen got in touch with me, it was not within the 8 days, so.
Yeah, I would go for, try to get a couple days and then
Good
see,
idea.
how do you want us to do this in the future
Okay.
for, notifying if we're gonna do these one-time events? If we're trying to do it yearly, we can just make a notice to them and have the town manager read it into the meeting.
Okay, thank you.
You're on the 24th, you said you're going?
19th is the date that they're looking at right now.
24th is the night that you're going to the meeting.
To town
Yes.
council?
January 24th.
January
okay.
24th is the night we're going to the
And
meeting.
February 19th is the,
Yes, is the actual date.
okay. What day is that?
I think it's Saturday night.
Oh, perfect. Well, no, it's good. It's on a weekend. That's great.
Yeah. no.
Yeah, it's my 36th wedding anniversary, so
Oh,
So you're not gonna be there.
I will not be.
February 19th is a Tuesday.
It's cheap. That's a cheap date.
It is
Yeah.
a cheap
That's-
date.
hey.
My wife will go out in the snow on our anniversary. Yeah.
Yeah,
we might not have a next one.
in the moonlight.
That's right. In the
27
moonlight
is where
there.
it's gonna end.
We have to go up and me and 27 are your closest friends. That's a Tuesday, by the way, the 19th of February.
Oh, thank you. Oh, really?
Really?
Okay.
That would be,
All right. Anything else?
That's all I have. Thank you.
Mike, anything?
Nothing for
Sorry.
Sklar?
We
Oh,
can let you do that.
You were there. Would you like to say something about Sklar?
Yeah, so, there's still a lot of, activity out there. And being as non-biased as I am, I said, well, maybe they could have missed the signs prohibiting their activities. So
You resigned it.
it depends where you're coming in from. There were spots where you could come in where you wouldn't have seen a sign. So, safe to say now, there's no spot that you can get in where you're not seeing a sign.
Unless you make your own trail.
Yeah, unless you're going right through, unless you're coming in through the river. So,
And at one time, I mean, it didn't, well, not the big signs, but those spots did have small signs. Remember we?
Yep.
yes, and there were still some remnants of, like around the tree where the
Wow.
Yep.
the screw was in, and the little piece of yellow was there, but the sign was gone. So now those have the big protect Merrimack's riverfront signs, prohibited. I took pictures of every single one that I put up, where it was
Now, so those were
GPSed.
four-wheelers and bikes, motorbikes?
Yeah,
So did you see any 4x4s trying to get in off the main road?
I did not, but I did not go all the way in and go down by the boat launch. I didn't make it down there.
Do you have the
It was dark.
You have the GPS of every sign or every other ones you just put in?
Just the ones I put up. I just turned it on my
Yep, no, I know,
camera.
yeah. I think I'd almost like to go get every one of them and just give the
Well,
PD a map and say, hey, here they are.
it wouldn't be far because they're all about
Yeah.
10 feet apart from each other.
Well, I still have one, I gotta bend that one I have back into shape so we can put it back up.
The target shooting one?
Yeah.
I put another one of those back up.
We should
Has
be able-
there been any target shooting recently?
Yes.
Mhm. Less, but yes.
What are they shooting? They're still shooting things like televisions? Do we need to do another cleanups at some point soon?
I didn't see any, last time I was down, I didn't see any big stuff. They were just shooting at trees and
Okay.
other inanimate objects.
Pumpkins.
There
Pumpkins,
is
that's right there.
enough junk down there for like a smaller cleanup in the spring,
Okay.
but not,
Well, it's
not like,
amazing
not
'cause-
like it was before.
Yeah, I mean, just when we were walking around there the other day, there's still, we're like, oh, I can't believe we missed those tires right there. But there's no leaves on anything, so you can like look right, oh yeah, there's some.
Yeah. Are the rocks helping at all to keep things out?
Must be.
Yeah.
Yes.
Good.
So that's good then. Thank you for those.
Yeah, we can still use more if we find more, so.
Yep, I made a request.
Yeah.
So we'll see if we get some more.
Well, good. All right,
Thank you.
Yeah, so at this point, if you're going in there,
you
with-
know it.
yeah,
Yeah.
you know you're not authorized.
So has there been questions on that, on the Merrimack site about that area or something?
I don't go on the
Yes.
Merrimack
Yeah.
site anymore.
Is that
There
the-
has recently.
and my wife mentioned something about
Yep.
that.
Yeah.
I did not answer. Other people did with assumptions and wrong answers.
And to clarify for people at home, the Merrimack Outdoors Facebook page is not affiliated with the Merrimack Conservation Commission. And most of the people on the Conservation Commission are not on Facebook. I think Matt and I are the only ones on. I do not go on that site to check because I don't always have the answers, and I just,
If you want answers to those questions, this
this,
is
I
where
have
to
made
get
the
them.
suggestion that the admin come to the meeting here, and that was not received. So I just stopped going on that site, so.
Got anything Greater Woods wise? You got anything coming up?
No? We have, our next meeting is in late January, and it is strictly focused on updating the stewardship plan,
January 29th.
January 29th. And it's strictly, focused on updating the stewardship plan, so we
Gotta get that up.
will have the computer, and we will be focused on, so if you come to that meeting, it's gonna be a work meeting. It's not gonna, we're not gonna be talking about, new things, and we're gonna be updating the stewardship plan. Hopefully to get it ready for us here at Concom to
Yep.
approve.
Okay. I have another volunteer too that's willing to do some behind the scenes typing stuff for us, so
Good news.
yeah. She's easy to bribe. She's easy to bribe.
Oh.
His daughter.
All right, so you got stuff? Nothing from Horseville?
The maps, just the maps.
Just the maps?
You already covered
Okay.
that.
All right. All right, and so that's it for the subcommittees. Do we want to, did anyone get a chance to go through the minutes?
I didn't see anything. Oh, yes, actually I did. I saw a couple of things.
Do we want to take them up?
You wanna what?
Did we want to take them up?
I'll make a motion. It's time for a
Yep,
motion.
go ahead.
All right. To approve the minutes of
December 17th.
December 17th, 2018, with corrections.
Second?
All right, motion by Michael, second by Cindy. Any comments and questions?
Go ahead.
A question for Gage, because on page 3, line 17, the question was on the, where are we? This was on the We Red Barn, and we were talking about fertilizer.
Mm-hmm.
And it said that you said that if fertilizer were to be utilized, that it would be low phosphate. Did you say low phosphate or no phosphate? Don't you usually say no phosphate?
Depends.
It says low phosphate here, but I just wasn't sure if you,
No, I was pretty sure you said no.
I think this would be no phosphate, because especially considering where it is on the river.
yeah,
Next
that's what I
right
thought.
this is
Okay, so then make that change, that low phosphate should be no phosphate. And on page 5, line 3, gauge, doesn't have an I in it. Yeah, that was gonna be your correction.
Oh, yeah, I missed that one.
That's all I had.
Okay.
Nope, all I had was the
Nothing.
age too.
Oh, okay.
Everybody's looking out
Everyone's
for you.
good? Yeah, really, thank you. Yes, that's nice. Been called a lot worse than that. All right, so, okay, if those no more questions or comments, all those in favor? Passes,
I'm gonna abstain.
abstains, 601 with Matt abstaining.
Okay, if we can stretch this meeting out now till 8 o'clock, my family will start dinner. I don't have to cook.
All right, so, public comment. Don, you're up. Please sign in when you get a chance, though.
I know the drill. I'm just gonna let you pass this around.
Thank you.
There's an album of about 12 photos.
Ah, is
I want
this
to make sure
the
people see.
beaver? Is it the
That's
beavers?
the area where the beaver have gone crazy.
Uh-huh. That would be an interesting, some of those pictures would be interesting to have for, the
Carnival.
Winter Carnival.
Yeah.
I mean, if you wanted to send some to me and gave me permission, then I could get prints
That is
made
stunning,
on
yeah.
Shutterfly, like 8x10s.
I have that good one. I don't know if I
Very
should. Oh,
stunning
yeah,
to
I
be out
showed it to
there.
you last time. Remember the
Yeah.
one where you can really see the teeth marks?
Do you want to send it to me?
Yeah,
And then I can get a copy of that made? Because I'll just do them on my own. I don't need you to, because Shutterfly offers,
That's
you know,
awesome.
free picture.
I
So
love that.
I can get some inexpensively made.
Maybe we could get one of the beavers.
To
in like a-
pose?
in like a dog cage and bring them into the Winter
Oh.
Carnival.
I'm actually thinking of investing in a couple of little stuffed animals,
Yeah,
of
stuffed a- yeah, I like
animals
that
that
idea,
would,
stuffed
Oh, you
animal.
I
like
was
that-
gonna
do you
see
like
if I
that
could
idea better?
find,
Yeah.
I was gonna see if I could find like a
You're gonna be
little
in the cage
stuffed
next
wood
to it,
duck
so.
to put in the duck box. Would you be okay with that?
Yeah.
Okay. I used to have a little baby mallard stuffed thing that you could put your fingers in and go like that.
Oh, that's
It was a
cute.
puppet. It was cute.
There's one tree, I think it's one of the middle pictures that shows
More pictures.
where the
Oh.
beaver have chewed all around it
But it hasn't fallen?
and it hasn't fallen. And if you
That one?
know how to zoom in on that,
Yeah.
look at the crack on it.
Oh, yeah.
That thing's gonna go.
Tonight.
Does it have a
Surprised you
lean
didn't go yesterday.
one way or the
Yeah.
other?
Oh, yeah.
It's got a lean, and it's probably gonna go along the trail, but then it depends on the one it's hanging on to. So it's
Yeah.
crazy domino effect.
Mm.
I suppose that. Yeah, I've been out there, so.
So while that's still going around, Gage, I just wanted to start off by asking a question because I got the email from Community Development on the upcoming meetings. The one that had it for all the subcommittees as well
Oh,
as
yep.
the
All right.
MCC. And it showed tonight's meeting and the submittal dates for anything for this meeting was December 27th. Yet this thing went out January 2nd.
The calendar's been posted for a while.
No, because I checked constantly on the calendar for the town, and it didn't show this meeting. I'm talking about in December.
Okay. So that was the, I'm sorry, I may have been looking at the old calendar then. I thought I saw it.
And,
19th, right then? Yeah.
and I found out about the date for this meeting through Cindy, but that was before this email from Community Development, and it's dated January 2nd. And my concern is, I guess I'm here as a private citizen tonight because we haven't had a Horace Hill subcommittee meeting. That's not coming until February 4th, which might be part of the problem with some of the communication that I've talked about in the past. I feel that we should be having a meeting at least every other month, not for a year. But I'll discuss that at the February 4th meeting with the rest of the committee. I contacted Cindy, and I have my emails that started December 22nd. She responded on the 24th. And I responded again on the 27th with regard to my desire to speak at this meeting tonight. So in my mind, I'm saying I've done my due diligence to let my rep to you folks know that I was interested in speaking and being on the agenda. So obviously, I don't know the official way to get on the agenda. And probably somebody should bring that to my attention as to how to do that.
I think it just went under the timing. I didn't realize you needed to be on agenda, and I don't think Cindy realized you wanted an agenda item either. Because anyone can come any night and talk as a member of the public here, so.
Well, it was my intention to speak, and I didn't want to surprise anybody, but I was trying to
Yeah.
keep up with the dates.
Back to your question, though. So the meetings calendar that we have has a submission column for submissions that go through the Community Development Office, and we do that because of, for projects and stuff like that. So that way they get their submittals in and provide us enough information in order to look at their plans and all that sort of stuff. So you're always welcome to utilize that avenue to get yourself on the agenda, or you can reach out to the chairman in order to get yourself on the agenda. But those are the two official ways to get on the agenda, is to reach out to the chairman or reach out to the town community development following.
So
that
reaching
guideline.
out to my community,
Your-
my connection to the MCC is not the correct way.
Well, only because you came as a private citizen, as you mentioned earlier, right? If the subcommittee wanted to come to the meeting and present, then that could be facilitated through Cindy, yes. But if you're here as a single member of the town, or as a single member of the subcommittee, then you could utilize the direct method of going straight to the chairman
Okay.
or going through the town. Make sense?
And I apologize
Oh.
for the confusion on that. I was thinking that you could speak in the beginning, and I
I-
forgot that it was for.
So-
Right,
agenda.
and I was surprised that we were into the end of the year, and we still didn't know when our meetings were gonna be. And I'm stating that for the subcommittee as well.
So Don, we had, as a commission, had voted on our calendar a while back. So the fact that the calendar wasn't up on the website is probably because they're short-staffed downstairs, most likely. I mean, I don't know without asking them, but they are short-staffed, so.
And while we're on that, based on my going into the website to look at the calendar and verify there's a meeting. There's no way to see what the agenda is for a particular meeting unless you come to the meeting, correct?
Which one here? No,
Like tonight's meeting?
no, our agendas are posted. They have to be posted ahead of time. and they
Okay,
are.
where is it posted?
So it's posted on paper in front of the doors.
Oh,
okay?
it's not on a website.
It is on it is on our website, on the Town of Merrimack Conservation Commission website.
All right, so
Because,
Send you
because,
the link.
because
if you-
that's
if
the
you go to the
official,
calendar,
that's the official place for business, is the Town of Merrimack.
if you would go to the calendar to look at the details with the meeting and where it's located and all that, this is just a suggestion, but it might be wise to have a link to be able, if you're inquiring about a meeting
Yeah,
and you go to the calendar, why should you have to go searching somewhere else to get the agenda for the meeting you just looked at here?
yeah, so,
Not
But
gonna
when-
say that I
so-
don't agree with you.
Right.
right, agreed.
Yeah.
When I brought that up a few years ago when I was chair, the issue was is that the agenda, the calendar is filled in way ahead of time. And someone would have to take the time, once the agenda was known, to then add that link to the calendar. So,
Okay,
you know,
And sometimes the agenda changes 2 days before the meeting because a new piece of information has come in. So I just think staff being short, they don't take those steps.
so, you can always find the agenda on the town website, but just not necessarily connected to the calendar,
okay,
okay?
good. I learned something here.
I'll email you the link.
Okay, I am here officially to file a nuisance beaver activity complaint at Horse Hill Nature Preserve behind sign number 3 and along Lastoka Pond. I'm doing this as per the MCC Beaver Management Policy, revised 32502, item C, numbers 1 and 2. And I wasn't sure how to do a formal complaint, so I'm taking this on my own. I just have a copy of one of the communications I had to the subcommittee. Okay, under C, objective, it indicates, upon receiving a formal complaint regarding nuisance beaver activity on town-owned lands, the Conservation Commission shall evaluate the effect on the site and other abutting parcels, examine detailed site map, and visit the site to determine the scope of the issue. 2, regarding mitigation, the Conservation Commission shall consider the following. 1, take no action. 2, install properly designed beaver pipes. 3, removing the beaver dam which may require a wetland permit. 4, relocation of the beaver by live trapping. And 5, removal of the beaver by conventional trapping procedures. For those that might not be familiar with the beaver management policy, I made a copy. I got that from the website as well. A couple quick facts from the UNH Cooperative Extension. The beaver is the world's second largest rodent. Breeding takes place in winter. Pregnancy lasts about 90 days, with the young arriving in April or May. They are capable of felling some very large deciduous trees. They rarely travel more than 100 yards from the edge of the pond in search of food or building material, which I think is all very important regarding where we're talking about. And I'm going to indicate on this map where the problem area is, just in case people aren't familiar. I've made a circle on this map right by sign number 3. In late November, email from subcommittee member Tim Adams about the beaver damage that went out to the other subcommittee members. Fellow committee member Bruce Peterson and I went to the problem area with our chainsaws on December 3rd to primarily open up the trail for user use once again. There were approximately, at that time, 50-plus hardwood and birch trees cut down by the beaver. We were there about 4 hours and managed to open up the trail again with only a slight variation. As we were preparing to leave, we heard a loud crack. I turned around and saw a 100-foot tall hardwood tree drop about 30 feet from me. We were both shocked and felt very lucky. Because there were still a few tricky trees to come down, we decided to let Cindy Glenn know that maybe the town should get involved at this point. Laurie Barrett from Public Works sent a crew over, and they did a fine job. Just as a follow-up to that, I sent Laurie an email and said, "Dear Laurie, just wanted to thank you for sending an able crew to help out with the beaver carnage behind sign number 3 at Horse Hill Nature Preserve. By cutting down the remaining standing trees that the beavers had not dropped yet, your crew made the heavily used trail safe again for all users. Great job by all involved. Thanks again, Don LaLiberty, Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee." On a final note, there is no other beaver activity level on this scale anywhere else in Horse Hill, even around the problematic Watson Overlook Bridge area. Large trees are being cut by the beavers for limbs and bark only. In some cases, the trees are being cut for no reason at all. We need to protect all our natural resources, and that includes the forest as well as the beaver, and that is why I would like permission to meet with a wildlife biologist from Fish and Game for recommendations that I can forward to the MCC. I'm available for any questions.
What do you think? What do you think they're going to say? I mean, if I've seen it. I've seen what they've done. But you've obviously spent more time out there than I have. So what do you think are some options?
My personal opinion, I'm not a wildlife biologist, is that we've got a family unit in that lodge that's greater than 12 beaver. I think the elders are pushing the younger beaver out. Maybe they haven't, the second generation beaver have not left on their own yet. I think they're just doing more damage than good because of the number. A typical family unit is no more than 12 beaver. There could very well be more there, but again, I can't verify that. There are some means to curtail some of the activity on future trees. Matter of fact, even in the cooperative extension flyer, it talks about even individual trees can be protected by wrapping them with a hardware cloth.
Chicken wire.
I've heard in doing research, another way, and again, this is unconventional, but there are some people that have used motor oil and painted it on the area of the tree that the beaver would chew on. I mean, these are things that might not go over well with some people.
We're not gonna get away with putting a
Yeah.
petroleum product in the trees. That won't fly.
No, but I'm looking for alternative methods other than sitting on our hands and watching.
Well,
This one?
they're gonna do it. You understand that?
What's that?
They're going to continue to do it. You understand that? So if we stop them here, they're gonna go over here. We stop them there, I mean, it's the habitat. So they're gonna continue. It's just a matter of where they're doing it.
That particular lodge where the beaver are coming out of, not supporting the dam. There's very few new limbs on that dam. There's very few new limbs on that lodge.
But I don't think you understand why they're taking the trees down. They're not necessarily building the dams. They're taking the branches and they're burying them underwater.
And they're
They're
eating
food sources for the winter.
You can see that with all the bark that they've been
Right.
pulling off on some of the trees. And some of the trees have nothing done to them other than the cut.
Mm-hmm.
My concern is the safety of the people using that area. I witnessed it firsthand. Bruce Peterson, another subcommittee member, was with me. And you don't forget the crack of a tree that is being blown by the wind that's been started by the beaver, and turn around and not knowing where it's going to be coming from. That was a wake-up call for me. It was also the time where I said to Bruce, we're out of our league now. We've done the clearing. Whatever else has to be done by professionals. My concern is that there's more trees that have been cut. There's more that are going to go over the trail. They could come down at any time. They could injure hikers, walkers, people with their dogs, mountain bikers. There's got to be a balance. I think the Conservation Commission is responsible for the double management of the natural resource, in this case, the forestry end of it, as well as the wildlife in the beaver. I think doing nothing is not an option. I think we have to look at the possibility, if there are things that might be recommended. And I am volunteering to be that person, to be the contact with the Fish and Game.
So recommendations are usually done because you have specific goals. So what is the goal that you would like to have achieved for that portion of Horse Hill?
Make it safe again
For hikers and
for the users.
For human users.
Right, I mean, if a tree comes down and
Close that trail.
injures an animal, we might not ever know it. But we will certainly know about it if a tree comes down and injures a hiker or a mountain biker.
So, I mean, another action is we could just decide to close that area of the property to human use.
That is something that you folks have the authority to do. And my concern is having it open and then closed, reopen and then closed again. At what point?
Well, I think it would just be closed. And
Yeah,
for-
yeah,
foreseeable future.
until the activity stops.
Yeah, it wouldn't be opening and closed, it would just be closed.
It'd be closing from what, 12 to 3?
I think it was actually circled incorrectly.
It is circled.
This is
Oh,
the
that's-
area here. So we could close from here to here.
3 to
And then
4.
you still get this to get around it. And a lot of people actually hike that way anyway.
So I'm just saying that there's other ways to do this, but I'm of the opinion that I think what's going on out there is extremely cool, and it's nature, and we have no other instance of that going on one of our properties, and I'd like to see it run its course. So that way we all in this generation will learn what it's like to see the beavers have a good time for a while. And I would prefer that we stopped human use of the area in order to, and warn people that they cross at their own peril and let it go. Because what happened out at the Meadow Pond out on Greater Woods is a really cool action that's gone on a different kind of beaver-related activity that most people don't get to see in their lifetime either. So again, I have a different opinion on this. I would rather we stop human use and let it go for a while, because it's not happening anywhere else that we're aware of on our properties. So,
Well,
where you can hike all over the place in multiple places on our properties. So,
I hate to see the damage being done on all the healthy trees in an area that is,
I think you're going to find the rebirth to be extremely cool.
The amount of coppice growth and the amount of growth you're going to see in the forest floor is going to be,
And you're going to see
It's gonna
more
be amazing.
birds are going to come back. All kinds of other wildlife are going to be more plentiful in that area because it's going to start a whole new thing.
are you familiar with the Beaver Meadow? It used to be Beaver Pond, but behind the middle school. It's now Beaver Meadow because that dam broke.
no.
That, behind, you know where the middle school is, obviously, and where the classroom trail goes out there where the outdoor classroom is?
Yep.
If you walk throughout into what is now, we call Beaver Meadow, that literally was underwater. And you can walk down to the end, you can walk right out on where the dam used to be, and you can stand, you can, picture yourself right there and look back and say, okay, I'm on the top of the dam, the water was right here. And, when that dam first broke, that was 2005. Yeah, had to be right there when the middle school was, because right before the middle school was finished. And that water washed out Babusick Lake Road down, because it came down Powell Brook when it was crazy, right up front of there. There was nothing there. It was just, it was an empty, it was awful. You go back and look at that now, it's stunning. You go back in there in the fall, there's more birds, the butterflies. We've had a couple wildlife biologists come up there. They come up there and they bring people up here just to go look in that meadow. The regrowth and it's just amazing. And now we're starting to get some hardwoods back. So the beaver will be back. So it's going to be a cycle.
There's not going to be regrowth in this, where these pictures were taken, where some of those trees are 12 to 18 inches in diameter.
Yeah.
And
Think
and
how
there's
big their crowns were.
there's nobody that's going to be moving those unless somebody has been promised that for firewood. My concern is what it looks like now, what the safety aspect of it is, and I would still like to get a vote on my desire to
We'd have
connect
to-
with somebody at Fish and Game.
Okay, we'd have to agenda your item. By the policy, we have to agenda your item and have a full discussion, so everyone in the public is aware of what's going on. See, basically, it says, upon receiving a formal complaint regarding a nuisance beaver activity on town-owned lands, the Conservation Commission shall evaluate the effect on other parcels. But it says, earlier on, it says, when we receive something, we have to agenda it for our next meeting. And now I can't speak to when this policy was created back in 2002, because I wasn't part of the commission at that time. But generally, when we have things that are going on, we agenda them so that way people from the public can speak either for or against or in favor of or provide an opinion and all that stuff. So essentially, we could take this up and your request at our next meeting. But
Did I already hear something else is going on at your next meeting? where it's,
We always have things going on, so this will just be
no,
a member of.
do you have a special meeting going on for, I mean, I wasn't paying total attention.
No.
Oh,
that's-
chapter 111 update.
That's Greater Woods.
Oh, you were talking about the
Yeah,
Stewart.
not this meeting.
Okay. Well, if you could put it on the agenda and take a vote, and then Cindy could let me know, I'd appreciate it.
The policy states that only if that you don't do that when an emergency condition exists.
Well, I feel that an emergency exists, and so,
No, we don't need to have a vote to shut down that trail for safety reasons. We could shut down that section trail and, or just to warn people, you know, what's going on and keep people out of it. That's, you know, that's not a,
it's gonna be tough to close down that trail based on what I've seen, even with the signs that go up
Yep.
during mud season. It's still gonna be used.
that's, we can't stop that. We post signs that say no ATV access, and they're still doing that. So, I mean, we can post it, say, look, this is, you know, for your own benefit and well-being, don't use this trail. And beyond that, if people want to look at us and say, "Pfft, okay. There's
So in the
nothing-
meantime, if any trees come down on the trail, we should leave the trees down on the trail?
I would think if we're gonna close it, then we should leave trees down.
Yeah,
Personally.
Sure.
Matt, how do you feel about that? Because I know you know that area well and have ridden that area a lot. How do you feel it's going to affect your fellow riders?
To be honest, I haven't been there in a couple months, so I haven't even seen this. But if trail's posted closed, it's trail's posted closed. There's a way around it. You know, if you go 3, 11, 10, you're around it.
Yeah, you lose that 3 to 4.
Yep, that's how
Yeah.
you lose.
It's a pretty
And,
short
that's a
section.
nice
considering. Yeah, it is a nice trail, but that's a short section considering.
I'd say the hikers walk the poop mile from the parking lot to the pond, and then they do 3, 4, 10, 11, 3, and back down the mile. That's probably the biggest user group that's on that, is the 1 hour hike. Or
To my recollection, there's also a couple benches further along the pond that,
Yeah.
in order to access that, they would really have to go around, and if they had that area closed off to them.
are the benches still standing?
Oh, yeah,
Mhm.
yeah.
I definitely see where you're coming from. I mean, I signed up for the Conservation Commission because all I could think of was how do we stop people from taking trees down? Because I see these developers and they go and they just strip everything down. So, yeah, I'd love to save the trees, but I do think as long as people are safe with closing the trails, I also think it would be kind of fascinating that we're conserving for animals too. You know, that the animals, we've basically come in and taken a lot of their land, and this is the tiny little parts that they have, this conservation area. And, I mean, Gage has had his moments with beavers.
Yeah.
So he and beavers are not exactly unfriendly terms.
Oh, that's not true.
But I'm interested to see what would happen if we just let nature take its course, and as long as nobody's getting hurt. And I imagine that was terrifying, because I mean, the woods in back of my house, I've heard those trees cracking. That's scary, and that would leave a mark on me too.
Right.
But I would love to see, nature take its course. And it was interesting to hear you say that you think that, there's a parent elder beaver pushing the young out, because Jeff was just earlier saying that the way that the trees are being so carelessly toppled sounds like a younger beaver that's just chewing carelessly, so.
I think
learning.
it's, again, my feeling is it wouldn't hurt for me to at least hopefully meet with a wildlife biologist on site. I've had a hunting and fishing license for at least 40 years, and I know some of them up there, but obviously I wouldn't contact them unless unless I was given the approval by you folks.
But what would be the goal of that? To remove the beavers, to
Well, you hit the
move
nail on the
beavers?
head where you're interested. I'm interested why they're doing what they're doing, not interested in look at what they're doing. I want to know why they're going crazy in this particular area. We thought that they were going crazy out by Watson's Overlook, but that's nothing that happened there compared to what we're seeing now.
Yeah. I mean, the logical thing to me would be, from what you've said and from what Jeff has said, is that the family has just gotten too big. There was food there, and you've got a bratty teenage beaver that's just causing trouble, you know? And he's having a failure to launch, and he's not moving on. So he's causing his damage, and at some point, he's gonna find himself a girlfriend, and he's gonna go off and start his own lodge.
Or his parents are gonna
So-
kill him.
And you know what? The thing is too, there's nothing downstream from where he is, unless he really goes. So he may have tried to launch
Right.
a couple of
Yeah.
times
Yeah.
and gotten to
Yeah, but
the
they're way too territorial.
the Sauhegan.
If he came back, his parents would kill him, literally. They will fight to the death.
And,
They're
and
that territorial, even
if
with their own
that's the
kid.
case, then nature will take its course.
Yeah.
Because it's, from what I can see, it's the family's gotten too big. And this bratty teenage beaver is causing, if what Jeff says is true, and he's carelessly falling trees and doesn't have the beaver smarts to fall them properly, then either the parents are gonna take him out, or, I mean, what else can, a hunter, I don't know if hunters can take him out, or.
No,
No.
So.
no.
They're too busy.
Well,
tracking
not
down.
that I'm suggesting that, but I'm just saying, ways that this,
The only thing we can do is the Fish and Game Wildlife, Fish and Game, they keep a list of trappers that you can contact and contract with.
but we don't know which one it is the problem, so.
Well,
Because he ever went on one.
yeah, but we had beyond this policy, we had a major beaver study done. And we have been educated as to how they behave and what they're doing and why they're doing what they're doing.
Yeah.
We can pull some of that data back up again. It is on our outdoors website. But what we know is that removing beaver just opens the door for more beaver to come.
And we also know that nature
So-
will take its course,
Which-
and they
right.
will, within a couple of years, they'll run out of food and they'll move on. And they'll disperse as they move on.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, that's
we've
exactly,
learned that.
that's exactly what we got going on in Greater Woods.
Right.
That's why we had one beaver pond up there, now we got 4.
Right.
I mean, they're subdividing those ponds.
So,
There's gotta be 12, 14 feet of water between, the bottom and the top one now.
Yeah.
It's an amazing dam structure they
Yeah.
got going.
And this is where we want them to do this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the forest.
Yeah, we don't
instead
want them
of
to do it
somebody's-
next to Gage's house.
Right, yeah.
Don, if you look too, near the Watson Overlook, they ran our hardwoods. There's no hardwoods left.
yeah.
Everything's pine up there now. But
There's some that they haven't touched for some reason.
some bigger ones,
Mm-hmm,
yeah. The Lostoco, near the Lostoco pond,
yep,
everything's that poplar, oak, in about that, because all the trees are the same size,
yep.
and they just, hey, that one was fun. There's another one like it right next to it. Let's get that one too.
Yeah.
They're just going until they're gone.
Well, like you said, they're getting their food for the winter right now.
Yeah.
All right, well, thanks for listening.
The
28th
the
is
next,
the
yeah, the next meeting's the
Yeah.
28th.
And we do
All right.
appreciate, everything you do, Don. You're an active
'Cause
member
it's-
of the subcommittee, and
I don't need to come to the next meeting, but if it can be on the agenda, the proposal by Donald Liberty, that's
Yeah, you have to.
in this request here.
Where did that request go?
Where did that get sent to?
This one?
the
Yeah.
subcommittee, I can
was
send
gonna
it
say,
to
if
you.
Can you forward that?
Yeah, because that has to get registered
Yeah,
in.
that's gotta go to,
If
They're
you
done
have
community
photos that
development.
you wouldn't mind if I made 8x10s of, and we used them at the Winter Carnival. I would give you photo credit for it. That would be the email for you to send it to
Well,
me.
how about I just forward you the pictures of this
Sure,
album that I just
that would be
gave you?
wonderful. And you don't mind if we use those? Make them bigger, and
No.
we'll make sure that you get the photo credit for it.
No,
Wonderful,
Access to
thank
my
you.
email.
If you
my
just
wife's not
wanna-
in the background.
Oh, yeah, right.
If you just wanna send it to,
You can send it,
Conservation
yeah,
Commission, the
if
whole
you-
Conservation Commission.
yeah, then we'll all have it.
All right, you want me to send it to all of you?
Yeah.
Well, so you don't have to, you don't have to do everyone's name individually. Conservation Commission at merrimacknh.gov goes to everybody.
Okay,
So instead of doing G. Rosati, just do Conservation Commission.
so do that instead of what you just gave me?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Okay. Thanks again.
Wonderful,
Thank
thank
you,
you.
John.
Thank you. Do you wanna talk? Oh.
Lynn Williams requests to speak from Horse Hill Nature Preserve Subcommittee. Okay, as a neighbor and someone who's worked on this subcommittee for about 20 years, I'm pretty familiar with the area, and I share Dawn's concern for the safety of hikers, of course, and bikers. And I was with Bruce and Dawn, but I didn't have a chainsaw when they went in there. And they're to be congratulated for having done a lot of work. I do believe the area needs to be monitored for safety, you know, whether it's by closing it or just monitoring it for some of these trees. Somebody really does need to monitor it, because you're not gonna keep people out of there. And then one reason I believe, I've worked with Jeff and Audubon on some other wildlife studies up there, and I'm not gonna reiterate any nature activities, but we've had a lack of snow, and that has encouraged the beavers, I believe, to be more active than normal. And, you know, it's food mostly, I think, that they're after. But at any rate, I just think it needs to be monitored, and it would be helpful if, like, about 20 years ago, a former commissioner, Andy Powell, he showed movies on beaver activities, which were really educational and, you know, help people understand where they're coming from. So I guess what I just want to say is it does need to be monitored, I think, and for safety. But, I mean, I don't think we need to declare war on the beavers, but it would be interesting for one of us maybe to work with Jeff, or there's a woman named Lindsay Webb who's a liaison person for Fish and Game, you know, or Audubon, and kind of instead of having theories, maybe get to the bottom of this. You know, how many families are out there? Because it looks like that other lodge isn't even being used. And then, as some of you might know, when you look down around number 120 Amherst Road, you would see that as of this past summer, that was dammed up, and that's on the Barbara Watson property. So it is interesting, this whole area, but I am concerned for the safety of people. And also, it would be good to kind of have a real understanding of the beaver population. That's my request, and however we can do that, I would hope that there would be some consideration for that. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you.
Thank you.
We had one item, well, we're into the, listen.
So before you leave then, if you're gonna leave, we have done extensive work learning about beavers, and we've documented a lot of it, okay? What we're seeing here is perfectly normal and natural. It's more visible, that's all, okay? But where I'm going with that, Lynn, is that we've done extensive research and have knowledge. We've had Fish and Game, we've had wildlife biologists in here. I think there are members of this commission who feel very comfortable with what's going on and understand what's going on and why it's going on, okay? If you'd like to leverage some of that, if you'd like to have some of that knowledge, please go look at our beaver, the beaver package on our website and take a look at it, okay? And then go from there, because at this point, I don't feel compelled to bring anyone from Fish and Game out, because I think we've spent, as a commission, a lot of time learning about beaver. So I think we have at least some of us have a good grasp on what's going on.
Okay.
All right? That's all, okay?
Thank you.
Thank you.
Close public comment. I know we're into commissioner comments, but we had I don't know if everyone got this email. No. It went to Sharon and went to you, Cindy, from Peter.
Oh, yes,
And I completely forgot to
forgot about that too.
ask about this.
Glad you
um,
remembered.
Peter sent an email to us regarding Horse Hill.
Yeah, I actually
The
printed it out.
redeck an existing boardwalk and construct an additional selection of boardwalk along the quarry trail inside Horse Hill Nature Preserve. The first existing boardwalk was donated by member. They want to redeck that section and then make another section sort of longer over another muddy area in a small stream. Are you kind of?
I know what
Yeah.
he's talking
Yeah.
about, but I wasn't on this email.
Yeah, well, I just realized it now. He said all MCC, but it didn't go to everybody. It just went to Sharon. So he's just asking to spend money
To buy the decking?
to buy the decking and materials to put it down. He's got a pretty well-made shopping list here from Home Depot. It comes out to just under $600. And so I'm assuming wants us to pay for it.
Yeah, he asked that if Sharon could purchase it.
Right.
Right, directly.
So it's just, I don't know if you guys want to see more. I mean, it's an existing bridge that we have, and I know what he's talking about. It goes off, and just at the other end of it's just still muddy now because it's just been used. So they want to
Extend it.
make the boardwalk a little longer. And
There's actually multiple places on Quarry Trail that have a problem. I understand right where he's talking. I was on it
yeah,
about a week ago today, and it definitely needs repair. But in my opinion, the whole trail should be closed, because coming in from Old Kings Highway, there's a whole section of trail that's completely impassable, and people are walking considerably around the wet area. And there's no bridging there because maybe it wasn't a wet problem before, but it's a wet problem today. So yes, I don't think that should stop fixing the bridge, but I think in general we've got a whole issue with closing that trail off for a while till the ground freezes or whatever. But so yes, the deck still needs to be fixed.
Yeah,
That doesn't change.
So you mean closing, you mean temporarily?
Yeah.
Closing quarry.
Honestly, I think we should close the whole place down. When I was out there a week ago, it was a mess.
I stated that I hadn't been there in 2 months, and I wasn't lying, because when it rains, Horse Hill is an unpleasant place.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Because
it's been this freeze thaw cycle we've had is made a mess. Made a mess of a lot of trails everywhere, not just Horse Hill.
Mess, a literal mess. There are so many little side trails now with people avoiding wet, muddy areas. It's just getting worse. And all we're doing is we're turning trails that were single wides into triple wides, or single wides with 2 parallel paths, because and then when this parallel path gets over wet, they make yet another one. It's a mess out there. And until we get a good freeze that doesn't unthaw until April, it's going to continue to be a mess out there. And this week's weather is just going to make it worse, because it's cold today. It's not going to be cold tomorrow. And on Wednesday, it's going to be well above freezing. And it's going to be a mess out there continually.
Well, do you want me to? I can send this back to him and
Look
at the whole trail.
So this is,
the request for the bridge, I think,
it
is
should be taken
separate
care
than-
of, right.
Yeah.
In general.
But in general, the whole trail has some issues that need to be dealt with. And I don't want to lay it back on the subcommittee to fix, because And there's other trails that also need some help, because I pretty much walked every trail except Twister. I was not doing Twister. I
That's
was,
the only dry one.
Yeah.
I don't care how much rain you get. I built that so that trail won't get wet.
go like this.
Twister.
What can't stand on something
Twister
like
and part of Ledge's trail I didn't do. I got so far and I just said, I've had enough, and I walked back the way I came in, so.
Well, all right, so we have a request from him to
Yes.
spend
Sorry,
$600, which is fine. And but if we, I can say, hey, before you submit this as a request for $600, what about the rest of Quarry Trail? Do we want to see if he can do the whole thing? We just want to do it piece by piece? Any
I
particular
don't know
thoughts?
where you're talking about that is.
It's not very far off of Old Kings Highway going towards Natticook Road on
Yeah, but that's
Quarry Trail.
the new wet area, though.
It's a new wet area.
That's not where the
Okay.
bridge.
Yeah,
That's,
not
So
where the
that
bridge
would
is.
likely,
Right.
after spring, that would likely
We need to fix that,
be.
yeah. So,
well,
So we think, so that's $600 that's some extensive work.
that's a lot, yeah.
Yeah.
He's got quite a bit of lumber in here and it's a lot of it's decking. Obviously, the decking boards are,
Oh, yeah.
that's $500 worth of decking boards. Everything else is 2x8, a couple 2x8s and screws and Torx head, so they're really not, but it's the decking boards that are, the weather, because we've been buying all weather shield lumber now, which is full ground contact, so.
So I move we authorize the expenditure of up to $600 to repair decking and other bridge work on the Quarry Trail from Fund 53. Yeah, we'll leave the Horse Hill Fund for
I
something
don't
better.
think the Horse Hill Fund could support,
That's all right.
Not much.
I don't think it would support that land.
Second.
All right, motion by Tim, second by Cindy. Any other comments and discussions? No? All those in favor?
Aye.
Passes 7-0-0. I'll respond to this
Oh, okay.
and and I'll send it back to everyone so everyone has a copy of it, but it's, so you'll all see it. I think I don't think Sharon's the right one to buy it, but she can facilitate that
Right.
with
They must have
Xenia.
a credit card,
So,
right? A town credit card. We can put it on.
Well, we
No,
have,
she can do it with the Finance Committee,
we have,
or
right,
Finance Department.
we have accounts at
Oh,
Home Depot,
with
so
Home Depot, okay.
it'll just be paid for, and then we'll just transfer, Paul
Okay.
will just transfer money out of our account, and
Right.
that'll be the end of it.
And I believe the mud season signs are still up, but
Because,
I don't think anybody,
Nobody
because
pays
we're
attention.
not like closing it, we're just saying,
Right.
notice this, don't use it, but I don't think anybody pays attention.
yeah, again, we've had this freeze-thaw cycle going on. Even you go up in Greater Woods, the Gateway Trail is, there's ruts in it from just, someone riding a bike, people stepping in it, and those footprints now are frozen in place. It's a mess. It's a real mess.
Mhm.
Well, the first time I went out on Horse Hill, it was 20-something degrees, and everything was just frozen in place.
Yeah.
But last Monday, it was a warmer day. It was 50 degrees, and it was a terrible mess out there.
And I know it's inconvenient for people that are used to going at a certain place, but,
Right.
really to save the land, for
Cool.
future use,
Go to a rail trail
right.
Right.
Yeah.
Mhm.
where the temperature and condition doesn't matter.
Right.
Yeah. Mhm.
There's plenty of them around here now.
Yeah, I didn't make the motion, but I was considering making a motion to close down Horse Hill. Wouldn't that go over well?
Wow.
I
Yeah.
would second that
Yeah.
immediately.
Mhm.
Well,
And then to not be reopened until after evaluation past February 1st. It's got to be the weather is not going to get any better for the next week or so from what I've seen for weather forecasts.
We could get DPW to drop 3 Jersey barriers across that parking lot. Done.
Oh, right, yeah. Mhm.
I've not been out there.
Yeah,
So
I had no
you know,
comment,
I went
'cause I
out,
don't
I
know
went
what
out there
it's
right
like.
after, you know, a couple weeks ago when this first indication of this beaver thing was going on, just to look at it. And it was cold and it was frozen, so it was fine, but I walked out there and I walked straight back, so.
Mm-hmm.
I can imagine I haven't been because I don't wanna go.
Yeah,
It's a nightmare, I'm sure.
yeah. Yeah, I was surprised to see people on the big fatties out there.
I've posted it on all the websites I have access to.
Trouble is how, you know, if we close down the main parking lot, there's gonna be Gerard's, all these other places to go
Mhm.
in.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, how do we close all those?
Can't fit a lot of them there.
No,
The fifth car shows up, blocks the neighbor's driveway, the neighbor calls. They're dealing with the police, who are the enforcement.
yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. Saying it's, you know, we're gonna end up, you know, pushing
Yeah.
the road, you know?
It's, well, yeah, it's probably not the only problem area either. I'm sure there's issues on Wildcat Falls as well. So,
So when,
I was in Grader all day yesterday. And it was pretty darn dry.
it was hard.
It's because all the beavers are over it.
There's beavers in Greater Woods.
well, today on Horse Hill might be fine, just a lot of ruts that are frozen and a lot of footprints that are frozen.
Yeah.
Right? I'm sure that's the way it is right now. But come Wednesday, when it's 38 degrees and we've had 1.5 inches of snow,
Yeah.
it's gonna be ugly out there again.
Slop.
Slop. You got it.
Did DPW take care of that big tree on Red Maple?
No,
Yeah.
no.
No?
Lori said we got down there and someone had already pushed it aside. Someone already cut it and pushed it aside.
Oh,
the
somebody else did? Wow.
Oh.
No, it's all cut.
Yeah, it's not in the way.
It's cut.
Oh, so the tractor that went down there was them going down there looking for
Oh,
it.
yeah, this was, this was
Because the tractor went down there.
this is like a couple weeks ago.
They took like a dozer.
Yeah.
Or not a dozer,
Back
A little
home.
backhoe.
Yeah, backhoe.
Yeah.
that's what the marks are.
Yeah.
So I just assumed it was DPW, but
Yeah, no, they went down there, but Lori called me back, she's like, we got down there and it's already been cut and pushed aside.
Wow.
So I was like, oh, okay.
That's a big tree.
Yeah.
that's a big tree. That wasn't me.
Did you see, I know, I can see, I can see by the side of the saw blade it wasn't you, that was, your blade's not that big. Did you see that the other one fell too? That was a wolf tree, went up in 2 pieces, and one
Yeah.
fell across the trail, and then like a week later, the rest of it fell back into the woods. So now you look in there, it's really open now out into the swamp, because that tree took everything down. They're huge. I mean, that thing's that you know,
I
be
wonder-
hugging and chalking trying to get around it.
Nine out of the 10 places it could have fallen to would have been in a culvert.
Yeah.
And it didn't. It missed the culverts
Completely.
completely,
Yeah.
which is beautiful.
Do people ever go and like take fallen trees out of the conservation land and use them for firewood or whatever? I mean, do people go and,
The answer is yes. but
can
not-
they do that?
But not there.
No,
No, okay.
We shouldn't, yeah.
no, that's
And
theft.
that was a big pine, anyway.
Okay.
Yeah, there's all those trees from years ago stacked up there.
Uh,
I don't get you going on that.
Talk to me about that.
Yeah, I'm gonna say, not only is it theft, but if you wanted permission, who do you allow and who do you not
Right.
allow, right?
I went through that very exercise with
Yeah.
those trees, and
We had a pile, yeah.
We tried
Still
after
there?
after that first cut, we were trying to get the town to say, you know, we'd let people come in here with their own chainsaws and cut stuff, and it was just,
No, yeah.
the only thing you can do is, you know, when trees are cut and it's on town property, they're just saying it's, you know, like DPW will take stuff out and they'll leave it on the side of the road. You can take it.
Okay.
Yeah, the trouble is they take it off of private property too.
Yeah, but they have to offer it to the landowner. If the landowner doesn't want it, they'll leave it on the side of the road. And
I know some private people who had some trees cut down, moved so they could get them on their own, and people drove by and took their trees. Yeah, 'cause, yeah, I mean, I grew up with a couple of people who for income, they would drive around looking for felled trees and bring them home, cut them up and sell them as firewood.
Wow.
Because that's how they fed their families. So, and that was the only way they could generate enough income to feed their families. Or that was a way that they could do it, I should say. I won't say it's the only way, but, yeah.
Hmm.
So,
They ever get in trouble for it?
I would imagine at some point,
Yeah.
they probably picked the wrong tree or landowner's tree.
Yeah. It's usually a barrel of a gun saying, get your wood somewhere else,
Yeah,
Yeah.
would be my.
Yeah.
so.
Do we have any other comments? Commissioner comments? Do we need to go around? We've been sitting here round tabling it for a while, so I think we're all kind of good.
Yeah.
All right. Motion by Cindy,
Second.
second by Matt. All those in favor?
Hi.
700 at 8:41.